All right, we are live with another Cafe Crash. I am your host, Daniel Crosier. Cheers, Mike. How are you, sir?
Very well. How you doing this sunny afternoon?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's probably sunny where you're at because you're on the West Coast. It's
Yeah.
overcast and cold in Colorado.
Yeah. Beautiful day here in sunny Oakland.
Nice, excellent, excellent. Yeah, Mr. Mike Perkins, you do so many amazing things. Uh, I know you from 215 Inc. You know, the comic book publisher, writer, and editor. And you were telling me off camera you do so many other things too.
Got to keep busy. Got to keep
Oh,
busy.
geez, do
Those bills
you?
keep coming in.
Yeah, that's true. That's weird. It's death, taxes, and I think bills are the other ones that
Yeah, yeah.
come out in that. Maybe it's a subcategory of taxes.
hmm hmm
Well, thanks for coming on to the show. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself. Your background, where you come from, and how you got into comics and production.
Sure. Absolutely. So I started off lucky enough. My brother Will Perkins is a comic artist, and so we were making comics together. I mean, as young as that was possible to do. Um, I started off working in journalism and worked for
Cool.
papers and magazines and whoever would pay me literally
Yeah.
for years. And then, gosh, this would be about almost 15 years ago now.
Mm.
Will and I started saying, "Well, let's do this for real." He had gotten out of college, and honestly, he found himself in the position that many comic artists find themselves in. He wanted to draw a comic. He didn't have a script. And so we came up with some books together. We did a
Cool.
bunch of anthologies, and then eventually we sold a series of comics called Beware
Mm.
to 215,
Nice.
and put that out and made a big splash and had a lot of fun. And I started editing comics at 215 because I was just noticing little ways we could improve, and I wanted to, give back to a publisher that believed in me. I moved up to eventually being the editor for the entire company and
Wow.
eventually owning and running the company.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That.
it was a hell of a trip.
Oh man, I bet. So, you know, you guys have been doing this for such a long time, and I didn't realize it. I thought 215 is maybe only around for like 10 years or so.
Yeah, we're coming up on 15 years here, a little bit more
Nice,
actually, I believe. Um,
nice.
and it's been fun. It's been wild. It's been another chapter. I feel like my entire life has just been a series of saying, "Sure, I'll try that," and seeing where it
Right.
takes you.
That's so cool. Yeah, when you start saying yes to everything, it's all sorts of opportunities open up.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's cool. So, uh, I've been like scrolling around the internet. Yeah, I absolutely love this cover. Yeah, Dr. Crow.
And coming back this year, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, we've got things in play. We've already been planning.
Man. The but you're also doing like production work, yeah, in terms of like you used to do YouTube videos and a number of like commercials and segments, yeah, some reviews
Yeah,
on cars.
I work with producers and directors and authors all over, just helping
Wow.
them bring their projects over the line, whether that's a video, a script, a book, a
Hmm.
speech, a website, you name it. I do. I'll be brought on to like do all of the marketing, writing, and messaging for a new brand or company, things like that.
Wow.
So it's just, again, it's been a function of leading a life where when people said to me, "Hey, do you think you could do this?" "Yeah, sure." And somebody saw it and said, "Oh, do you think you could do it for me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then before you know it, you have a career,
Nice.
whether you want it or not.
Right, right. Well, but I mean, it opens up so many other possibilities too.
And when my goal is, as it always has been, just to work with good, talented, creative people and make
Mhm.
interesting things, things that I'm proud of, it's been just, I mean, perfectly aligned toward that.
Yeah.
And you just get to collaborate with creative people and create something that's better than you would create on your own.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's awesome. The when you're doing this, you're you mentioned before we went live that you would bring the right talent to the table. Not just fill a niche. It's like it's got to be appropriate. It's got to work.
Yeah. And so many times in the corporate world, you end up using what's available because you're on such tight deadlines. And
Right.
working in comics is such a delight in that you really can, if you're willing to wait, if you're willing to pay, if you're
Mhm.
willing to just wait for the universe to provide that perfect timing and connection, you can have exactly what you want. You can make it so that you're not cutting corners. And
Yeah.
to be very honest, the audience can tell when you cut corners.
Right.
When you don't hire an actual good letterer or a good colorist, like when you just take whatever you can, like people can tell.
Yeah. Do you get that immediate feedback?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's sometimes it's from the people who know, from the people who are in the know, they can tell
Mhm.
right away. You can tell a
Right.
quality product, or more specifically, you can tell where you script, or where
Mhm.
you cut corners. But for someone who doesn't maybe know exactly, they're not familiar with the process of creating comics or any project, it's always been my belief that they will walk away with a subconscious feeling about that. They
Mm.
might not be able to put their finger on why they feel that way, but they'll
Yeah.
walk away from whatever it is going like,
Hmm.
that was okay.
Yeah.
That was fun, and it's already fading from their mind. It's already,
Right.
leaving them. Or maybe they walk away with like, that was good, but it was kind of, I don't know, chintzy, hokey.
Hmm.
What is it? You know what I mean? I trust your audience, man.
Yeah.
They can tell.
With that, with like collaborating, creating a book, have you ever had those moments of just like pure bliss, pure ecstasy, where it's just like,
Oh yeah.
everything fits?
Oh, I mean, there are multiple moments like that with every single project where you get
Hmm.
something in and you're like, oh yes, oh my gosh, that's so great. Especially when I'm involved a lot of the time from the very beginning, from the script, before any art has ever been created. So for me to go through a script and say, hey, I love this dialogue, let's make sure that this dialogue is front and center so that this line
Hmm.
doesn't get lost. Or I really love this image, I know you said that this is only going to be the bottom third, but maybe this should be
Right.
the bottom half or whatever. And then when
Hmm.
you finally get to the artist or the letterer putting their 2 cents in, which is going to be even better than mine because they've dedicated their entire career to this one specific talent and skill, and they come
Yeah.
up with an idea that's even better than what you were thinking of, or something totally different than what you were thinking, and it achieves the same goal in even a bigger way. It's so satisfying. It's so
Yeah.
satisfying because it's a surprise. It's like Christmas every time.
That's cool. And that's such a special feeling. And then at the same time, can't wait to share with the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's got to be a tough thing too. Like when you got something done, it's scheduled to go out 3-4 months from now, and you can't say anything about
Right. Yeah.
it.
It's hard to hold back sometimes, especially because
Yeah.
you don't want to spill that excitement and enjoyment way too quick when they're not going to actually see the book for another 8 months.
Yeah, that's true. Do you ever have to deal with with the online culture where now we've got all these spoilers coming out from left and right?
Yeah, I mean, because it's a game you do have to play.
Right.
Otherwise, especially, I mean, it's especially important for small press like we are, because we just
Mhm.
absolutely live and die by word of mouth and people actually going into a comic shop and telling them, hey, I saw this book, I want this book, please order this book. And
Yeah.
hopefully the shop will actually listen, and hopefully the person will actually come back and actually pick it up and actually pay for it, because when they don't, guess what? The comic shop is
Mhm.
pissed at us. They're not
Right.
as pissed at that customer. You know, they're pissed at us.
Hmm.
They're like,
Interesting.
oh, great. Because when it comes time to them ordering another book, they'll
Right.
look through that catalog and they'll be like 215. Yeah, I remember spending some money on that. I never got back. I'll order another Marvel book. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah. It's, even especially like during a pandemic, how have you guys been able to sustain?
So we have been leaning heavily on online sales, leaning heavily into cross promotions so that you can just like build up your awareness.
Cool.
We always make it known and available things like links to directly pre-order at Midtown or Westfield or any places
Mhm.
like that, so that that's something where your call to action for the reader is just a
Yeah.
button click. You know what I mean? If you already have an account in Midtown or Westfield or any of these places,
Mhm.
literally, when I'm sending you the link, it's just click and that's it. You're
Okay.
good. You know what I mean? As opposed, like I said, it's a hell of an ask to get somebody to walk into their comic shop and
Right.
remember to tell them to order it and then remember to pick it up 2 months later and all that.
Right.
So, like, making it as easy as possible for the um, audience, for the reader, is just key. Just key.
That that's cool. The with the print comics, are you finding a lot of success in going not completely, but going digital too, like on Comixology platforms?
Yeah, I mean, we've been on Comixology for the I mean, we were there right in the beginning, and we're on several other platforms as well. And they have varying levels of success. Some of them we see literally no revenue from. Some of them we see a little bit of
Hmm.
revenue from. But we found very early on that the two didn't really overlap, or rather, should I say, they don't hurt sales in either direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I can have a book that just sells like crazy through digital. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I'm going to sell less of it in print, and vice versa.
Mhm. Right.
So when this first started happening, we were really really worried. We're like, what's going to happen? Are we going to like not sell print anymore? Should we just like
Mhm.
focus completely on digital? What should we do? And they're
Yeah.
just two different audiences.
Okay.
Or more specifically, a lot of them are, yeah, I want it on print and I want digital.
Wow. Interesting.
Because you get collectors who they'll use digital as a way to say like, oh yeah, that is, especially if the digital comes out early and they'll know ahead of time that it's going to be something that's going to be coming out in print. It's
Yeah.
a way for them to find you. But I've always run this company with the idea that just get your books out as much as possible. i
Right.
give I give away a ton of free comics,
Mm.
both print and digital. I use it as promotion.
Yeah.
I would just I know that the books are good.
Yeah.
I know that if people read them, they'll like them. My big challenge is getting them into people's hands.
Yeah.
That's it. And once I do that, now I know I've got a loyal reader.
Right.
Loyal readers will buy comics. I can worry about that later. I just need to get people to read the comics.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So it sounds like yeah, you're really wanting to engage wholeheartedly with your audience.
Oh my god, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because listen, I like comics.
Yeah.
I have my entire life. And the experience I used to have going into my comic shop on Wednesday and walking over to the indie table and grabbing random book and
Mhm.
just looking through it and being like, oh, okay, what do we see in here? Oh wow, look, the inside is just as good as the outside. Okay, yeah, I'll take this. And then going
Right.
home and the story's just as good too. And I want that experience for the readers. So what I've done is I go through the indie comics that come into my submission and I pick out the ones that give me that experience, and then I want to share it with everyone else. Look
Yeah.
what I found. You're going to love this too, I promise.
Oh, that's cool. That is, yeah, that's such a special feeling too.
Yeah, it sure
Yeah.
is.
The when you were growing up, like what really grabbed your eye? What comics were you reading?
So I was always a big Hulk guy.
Ooh,
That
cool.
was my first love in comics. And after that, I went in through a little bit of Spider-Man and X-Men because I did grow up
Mhm.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then I kind of let comics fall away to the wayside for just
Mm.
a little bit in high school.
Okay.
And then Preacher came out.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
was like, oh shit, you can tell these stories in
R-
comics.
right.
Okay. And that changed absolutely everything. I mean,
Nice.
I don't know that I read another Cape and Cowl book that my brother didn't hand to me directly and said, you need to read this, for a few years. Because it was indie anything.
Right.
Just indie
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Preacher is absolutely amazing. Preacher, Sandman.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. When I was in art school, I revisited like V for Vendetta and
Yep.
rediscovered Watchmen as is absolutely enamoring. It's like, yeah, you can tell these wonderful, sophisticated stories,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's such a great medium because you can tell it as big as you want or as microcosmic as you want.
Yeah.
It
Guess
can
what?
be.
Drawing somebody sitting on their front porch swinging in a tire swing costs just as much as drawing a spaceship flying through space.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. When you think about it in terms of an economy, you know, um, it most certainly is that same thing, and hopefully, it transports your audience when you do that too, all for the same price.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I used to, back in the '80s and early '90s. Yeah, I grew up on Batman and X-Men predominantly,
Sure.
and then Wonder Woman and Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So those were always a lot of fun. Every now and then, like when I was just a teensy toddler and my dad made the mistake of introducing me to Toxic Avenger, my mom would bring home like scantily clad, warlord of, what is it, Warlord? Yeah, Warlord from DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, nobody's wearing any clothes in this, Mom. What are you doing? Thank you, by the way. This is creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't know any better. Just something to entertain me and get me to read.
Yeah. Hey, and that was the rule in our house. Is like, you don't have to ask. If you want a book, you can have a book. So we had lots of those around. Now, getting that to apply to comic books was a little bit harder, but
right.
It was still something that they were willing to buy. Like, can I have a toy? You don't need a toy. Can I have a book? Yeah, you can have a book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if I wanted a toy, there's a stick. Give it a name, Dan.
Do your best. Enjoy.
Yeah, that's what imagination's for. Oh, I'm gonna imaginate, hurting you. John chimed in. We got 3 cat smiles, so that's nice. But yeah, you've got so many different varieties of books that you put out through 215. We threw up Dr. Crow. Jesus Hates Zombies, which it's been a while since that's been out.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking about Stephen Lindsay before we came on, and he's doing tattooing now and stuff.
Yeah. We'll get him to make more Jesus Hates Zombies, I promise.
Yeah, let me know if you need help. Maybe we can do a little mousetrap thing or something and snare them.
Something elaborate.
Yeah, something ridiculous, definitely.
Well, naturally.
Yeah. And then, like Freaks and Gods.
Yep. That's the one. That's our major book right now that we're just finishing up the 4th issue of the 1st volume. We're putting together the graphic novel, the trade paperback of that, and Fernando Pinto from Warped just finished the cover. Warped, right? We just put that out.
Yeah.
He just did the cover for the trade paperback of Freaks and Gods.
Oh, cool. Tell for those out there listening, what's Freaks and Gods about?
Freaks and Gods is a love letter to the golden age of comic books. And the creator, Chris Dreer, he took some characters that were in the public domain and
cool.
Basically would take a small portion. And this is from the characters that showed up in a comic or two back in 1950 something and then never showed up again.
Right.
And so he would take their their look and a little bit of their backstory, and then insert that into the story that he has created with his own original characters.
Nice.
So the three lead characters from Freaks and Gods, Atum, the first god, Steve Steff, the retro sci-fi adventurer, and Barghest, the cursed knight of the round table, who's now a werewolf. They all go through dimensions and space via the dark portal, very much like a quantum leap style situation. They're trying to find their way back home, but the dark portal just keeps taking them to places that they either need to be, places that they have to be, or places that they want to be. Or
Interesting.
exactly what he wrote down about that. But it's a really fun adventure. It really, really is. And the reason I picked it up, it just reminds me of everything that I loved about comics as a kid.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, unabashedly, unashamedly, just directly. And the entire submissions review team said the same. So we're like, yeah, we got to grab this one.
Nice. And you mentioned you just put out Warped. What's that one about?
So Warped is a comedy, sci-fi adventure, very much in the vein of Cowboy Bebop or Firefly.
Oh,
You've got a couple of people in a spaceship just trying to make rent, so they'll take any job they can get. In
nice.
His first issue, his first story, they have to transport an intergalactic porn star across the universe, and things go wrong from there.
Right. Oh, that sounds sexy. So many horror movies and porn movies have started that way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a fun book, and honestly, with Fernando's just energetic art and his story, he's hilarious. I mean, the book is hilarious. I can't believe he hasn't gotten more attention. Actually, I'm not supposed to say anything about this, so I'm not going to say anything specifically, but he is about to get a lot more attention, so you should all pay attention to him.
Nice. Yes, most definitely. The John just asked, when did 215 start? I think you mentioned 15 years ago.
Unofficially, it was like 2008, 2009, but we've been running officially since 2010, 2011.
Okay, cool. The you're kind of like it sounds like there's a lot of similarities to outfits like Image Comics and that sort.
Yeah, we're completely creator owned. We never ever take any part of the creator's intellectual property at all. You created it, you own it. All I want to do is help get eyes on it. We have a deal where you keep all of your rights. You just give us the right to publish it the first time in English. That's it, and then it reverts back to you. We pride ourselves on having a very, very, very creator-friendly model, as evidenced by the fact that I came on as a creator and then I helped write the contract.
Nice. Oh.
I wanted to make sure it was exactly what I would want. So I mean, creators can leave whenever they want, and we've had that. I mean, listen, I would love nothing more than one of these books to become the most popular book in the world, and everybody wants it, right? The second thing I really, really want is somebody else bigger to notice this book and then take it on. And we've had that happen multiple times where they are, Heavy Metal is reprinting Supernaut right now.
Oh, cool.
Issues. What about Flutter, which was picked up by Dark Horse? And they're printing that. Enormous from Image.
Nice.
And now Vault. That's my goal. My goal, and I've been successful so far, is picking out the creators that deserve attention and making sure they get it.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's I think so many creators have especially a number of my friends have had such a tough time, but at the same time have a hard time approaching publishers and creative entities, whether it's anxiety to some level of like trepidations, like, oh well, I heard this person had this experience, I don't want to go into that world.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, you might be missing out on an opportunity, or if you don't try.
You just don't know. And honestly, that is maybe my favorite part of all this is just working, like I said, working with creators to help that happen. I mean, I do this for 215, but I
Mm-hmm.
also do it on the side. You were talking about the production stuff, but I do comic stuff as well. I edit comics on my own to help people get them pitch ready or just ready to go. If you want to go and self-publish it yourself,
Oh,
bring
wow.
it over the line because I just enjoy doing that.
Well, that's pretty. That's really good to know too. That you as a resource are out there to help out, even if something doesn't go to 215.
Yeah, I've had a lot of books that get sent in to me, and I will say to them, "This is good. This is something that could get published. I don't personally want to because again, I want to only publish books that give me that feeling where the same thing as when I was a kid, where
Right.
I feel as though like, holy shit, they wrote this for me. They
Mm.
must have written this for me. It's
Huh.
too perfect. It's too personal. You know what I mean? But I still
Right.
recognize worthwhile good stuff, and if I can help that get it over the line, I like doing that.
That's really cool. I think too often, people submit things and then either don't hear back or get that nice rejection letter, but there's no like being forward on or like, hey, this is great.
Yeah,
You
and
just
it's
need to
hard. I mean,
address this. Yeah.
I get a half dozen submissions a day,
Oh, wow.
and you know I've got a submission team that helps out, but I'm the one reading them all.
Oh,
When it comes to the end, I'm not going to pass them without giving them a look.
right.
And honestly, I can't. I don't have the time to give a personalized rejection every single time, which is why on our website it says
Mm-hmm.
if we're interested, we will contact you. But that's all I can promise. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But every once in a while I do see something where it's like, okay, I need to let them know what the
Mm-hmm.
issue is here. And again, I'm a creator myself. I know how frustrating it is. I don't want to
Right.
do that. I don't want to leave people in the lurch like that, but I'm only one guy. I've only got so much time.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning, you have so many things going on. I don't know when you sleep, or do you?
Yeah, I pass out. I pass out.
Just a little blackout and then we come to we're in a different location.
Yeah, sometime around midnight one, I pass out, and then the sun comes up, and and that's it. Back at it.
Who's there? Oh, hold on, let me piece myself together.
Yeah.
That's cool. You as a creator, like what is your writing process like? How do you approach that?
Okay, so that that is a question with many different answers.
Mm-hmm.
Can I answer specifically to the latest project I worked on
Yeah, you bet.
with
I'd love
story
to see.
books?
Yeah, the gory books.
Okay, so for this one, we partnered with Witter Entertainment and BrokeHorrorFan.com and had said, okay, well, we love those old little golden books that we had as a
Mhm.
kid. What if we did children's style retelling of classic horror stories and
Cool.
put it in that style, right?
Yeah.
So how do
Oh,
I do? How do I do that? How do I take Night of the Living Dead, which is my favorite horror movie of all time, the first horror movie I ever saw, and how do
sweet.
I translate that? And for me, it was okay, I'm going to want to have certain things. So I went through and I watched the movie again, which, what a chore, obviously, right? And went through and noted down all the things that I need to have.
Hmm.
I absolutely need to have this in the book. I can't have the book without showing that the classic scene of Johnny coming back with the gloved hand coming in, or the
Yeah.
girl with the spade. It's just those need to be in there.
Yeah.
Once I had a list of all of those, then I said, okay, well, how many pages will I need to include all of these things if each one of these represents like 2 or 4 lines of poetry, of prose.
Hmm.
And then from there, I just started writing.
Yeah.
Sent it into the team, and they gave their feedback with regard to little things here and there. And again, like I said,
Hmm.
came back better than when I delivered it.
Takes a village.
It takes it. And so then we just kept it going on from there. Give it to a couple of my trusted reader editor,
Mhm.
and then polish her up.
Oh, that's cool. So, man, and what a fun way to, to approach children's books too.
Right, right.
I wouldn't have thought to have, done something like that. So that's, kudos to you guys for
Well,
making that
that's
attempt.
that's largely Witter Entertainment and Broke Horror Fan.
Mhm.
Witter Entertainment um, puts out collector's editions of horror movies on VHS with
Oh,
custom illustrated covers.
cool.
So like my brother Will has done a few of those for them.
Nice.
They're really plugged into the horror collector crowd, and they knew that this was going to be something that they would be interested in. So it was kind of a no brainer to go
Yeah.
with it, and they're great to work with.
Oh, that's so cool. The looks like John just mentioned something that 215 declined, but they always you always took the time to give feedback.
Hey, John, keep trying. You'll hit me, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, he seems
Literally,
very appreciative. He wants nothing but the best for 215.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's not necessarily a reflection on your work. It's just my own personal taste because this is my company and I can run it how I want
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Well, and like with that too, like there's other platforms too
Mhm.
that a work might be more appropriate for.
Yeah, and to be honest, like when you get rejected from a publisher or from
Mhm.
multiple publishers with a project, one of the most valuable things that you can bring to a publisher, in addition to your just skills as a storyteller, whether that's through prose or through illustration, is your audience.
Yeah.
Having an audience that is already, like if you
Built
think
in.
about it, you come to me with the best book in the world and nobody knows your name, nobody knows anything. We got a lot of work to do. I'm
Right.
willing to do it. I've done it, I've done it before. I'll do it again with any book that I think is worthwhile. But the more work you can do to build your audience, and if that means self-publishing for a while, because
Mhm.
if you get 10 people to buy your first book, or 100 people, if you're starting to hump and going around to cons, which you should be doing, guess what? You can get 200 people to buy the next one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, most definitely. There, yeah, you do have to start off, building yourself up, building up your audience, your clientele, getting that following. With social media, the way that it is today, those tools are at your dispense.
yeah, yeah. And there's so much you can be doing before. I used to have arguments with other writer friends of mine who
Mm,
would do the whole like, what do you write every day, or do you wait? You don't want to like dry up your well, before you come out. Like, no, dude, you got to write every day because you don't know when that great idea is going to come or when that great opportunity is coming. You got to make sure that your chops are up, your chops are ready, man.
right,
Your
right.
hands are all polished and your joints are all lubricated and everything.
Yeah,
Go, make sure this thing's working right.
yeah.
Same
I
thing with
remember
other
like
comics.
yeah, like around Halloween, they were interviewing. I forget what the outlet was, but interviewing Stephen King as one tends to do around
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah,
And he was talking about his work ethic, and I was actually I was surprised, but wasn't surprised. He said I write an average of 10 pages a day. If it's 10 pages, maybe a little bit more.
sure.
And it's day in and day out, and that's how he's able to put out like X amount of novels a year.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, that is intense. And of course, in the early days, that 10 pages was accompanied with a little bump of cocaine and
yeah,
sometimes an alcohol, consumption issue.
a little, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But you hear these stories too. It's just like, oh my god, it's like hanging out with a literal, a rock star of sorts backstage. Only he's using that to fuel his creative passion, like
right.
directly him and the typewriter.
I mean, like as Hunter Thompson said, I've never been one to suggest drugs, violence, or alcohol to anyone, but for me, it's worked. And honestly, that is the best advice you can get. Like,
Right.
I'm not telling you to destroy your liver with alcohol. I'm not telling you to get onto coke. But if you can develop a habit, a writing habit, that
A writing
not,
habit
not
out
a
of
drug habit, but if you can develop a writing habit, you're ahead of the game, man.
Yeah.
You know, I do most of my work on 500 words a day.
Mm.
I'm working with a lot of other people and on a
Right.
lot of other projects on any given day. But if I commit to, when I get up in the morning, before I do anything else, I'm going to pump out 500 words on whatever project I'm doing. I mean, guess what? 500 words a day that's a lot after a while.
That is.
500 words a day is what is that? 15,000 a month.
Yeah. Oof, man.
15,000 a month means you're putting out a novella in a couple months, 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, have you ever put out a novella?
I mean, 215 Inc. has put out books, certainly.
Right.
We did A Boy Like Me with Jenny Wood from
Oh, cool.
Flutter, done by Jenny Wood and Jeff McComsey and Jeff McClellan. This was fun. I edited this as well, page by page.
Cool.
We have a couple more in process.
Yeah.
Always excited about that.
I'd imagine that like editing, and working with all these different writers who have all these different voices and flavors, you probably can't approach, each one the same way.
You absolutely cannot. And that has everything to do with tone as much as it has to do with the person. Like, we put out the illustrated novel of Mind Games from Jim Starlin.
Ooh, cool.
Well, yeah, but nobody wanted it.
Oh,
sadly. But like a guy like Jim Starlin,
yeah,
isn't exactly interested in a whole lot of your input. He knows what he wants to tell, and he's pretty set in that.
Yeah.
As to someone newer. But regardless, an editor's relationship with their creator is really fucking intimate.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, good. It's really fucking intimate. I mean, it just is. And if you and I mean that in every sense of the word, if you are actually getting down, especially with prose, and you are actually reading everything, paying attention to everything, not just glossing over, you are going to get to know that writer very intimately.
Yeah.
And the things that you need to do to maintain that relationship, to nurture that relationship, and especially protect the creator's tone and message so that you don't deviate from that. Because there are so many changes that can be made to any manuscript.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they should be made.
Sure.
Like, it's always clarity and style in that order. And that clarity goes to the person's message and their tone. You cannot be inserting yourself into someone else's art. You can just do things to make it better.
Right.
I'm not more important than the writer.
You're essentially a gardener at that point. You're just helping to keep everything growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
a great way to put it.
Yeah. The we were when we were before we went live, we were also talking about how you've got to be cheerleader and psychologist. It does sound like you not only gardener, but kind of a parental figure too.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, again, that changes person to person.
Right.
But you have to understand or keep in mind that your end goal is the same. You both want to put out the best piece possible.
Right. There. That's got to be just a fantastic tightrope, but also what an exciting journey too for that end goal.
I wouldn't be doing anything else. I can't imagine doing anything else. I just love it so much, and I just feel so lucky that people trust me to do that.
With with the pandemic and everything too, and I know you've had it's been very trying for you. You lost your father during this time. How have you been able to interface with the audience, not just like social media, or has it just been social media?
I mean, primarily it has been. I've met with a few different local creators
Hmm.
when we weren't on complete lockdown, and when we could find a place where you could sit 6 feet apart outside and talk
Right.
about things. And for me, creativity has always been such a safe harbor with regard to my own um, mental health.
Right.
Like I was lucky enough to identify at a fairly young age that if I'm not working on something,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get fucking grumpy real quick. It's
Right.
just I
I know
know.
that feeling.
Yeah, I know this now.
Yeah.
There was a long time I didn't know that, and you'd just be walking around with that. What do they say at the beginning of Moby Dick when I start walking down the street wanting to knock the hats off of passerbys?
Oh yeah.
You know what? It's time to go to the ocean. It's time to get on a boat. For me, it's like
Right.
why am I in such a fucking bad mood? Right, I finished a project 2 days ago and I haven't started anything new.
Right.
Okay, well, that's what can I get my brain going on?
Yeah, no, I know that feeling all too well. Do you recall the time that you realized that you need to have something continually going?
Yeah, actually, it was right after I had finished outlining the first. Um, I believe it was the first arc of Beware that
Mm,
I remember sitting down and just making a list of things I need to
yeah,
keep myself happy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I was like, okay, I know that if I don't ingest fiction in some form every day, that's something that will knock me off. I know that if I don't get up and move every day, because again, I can just like anybody else, I can be strapped to a computer for days at a time. And if I
yeah,
don't, even if it's just taking my dog for a walk and get my blood moving, like
right.
that's it. And then it was like, wait a minute, I also need to be doing something. I need a short-term project and I need a
Hmm.
long-term project,
Yeah,
and that doesn't matter if it's a book I'm writing or like a car I'm restoring or like a long like art project, like wood that I'm working on, something like that. I just
cool.
need something to do it. Otherwise, I know I'm going to start getting a little funky.
Nice. Yeah, no, I totally get that. That is a sensation that I have quite often. I need to have those long term projects, and I need to have those short terms. I need the gratification of the short terms to justify the long
To
terms.
keep me going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So whether it's that tiny little illustration, or that quick little sketch that I can do in the morning
Yeah.
to get the blood pumping. Now you did mention too that you were working on wood. What? So obviously I'm a wood guy
Oh, you
too.
are. Yeah.
What are you working on, or what have you worked on?
I mean, I just generally work on wood projects in general. Small stuff. I'll carve little critters by hand.
Cool.
Just hand carving stuff. So like I did a tyrannosaur skull for my brother.
Oh.
My mom always felt as though her mother was represented by cardinals, and so
Um,
I carved a tall, like, you know 16-inch tall cardinal perched on a
oh
branch. I just
man.
finished a teeny little octopus with those brass eyes for.
Oh man. That Elise and I love octopi.
Oh, here,
Oh my
let me grab
god.
it. It's right here. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Yay. Oh man, that's going to be cool. I am a sucker for wood carvings. I love it.
So this was something where I just had a bunch of this wood left over, and I didn't want to
Mhm.
let it go to waste. So I just had this tiny little
Oh, that's
piece
so
of wood
cute.
there, and I
Oh,
did
that's
those
cool.
mosaic pins for the eyes of the brass.
Oh, that's smart. That's so clever. I love it.
A little bit.
That's a great way to do that. What kind of wood is that?
That is California black walnut.
Oh, that's a pretty tough wood too, right?
It is. I have to sharpen my knives
Ooh.
very often. Very often.
That's so cool. Well, man, when I was in art school, I did a lot of woodwork and big wood assemblage, usually abstract or non-representational, and then I started in incorporating illustrated elements into it, and that's how I got into doing comics. Was back in with MySpace, people would see that and like, hey, we want you to do a cover to this horror book.
That's cool.
And yeah, I had that kind of weathershed look to it. It was very disheveled.
I was showing people your stuff, and they're like, "Is that on wood?" Like, yeah, dude, that is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So, I love, seeing other people's, woodworking and how they're doing, fun, creative stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun to keep your hands busy, I guess.
Right. Right. Is that something that you do like while you're watching TV or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
The cardinal I did for my mom, I watched all of Star Trek: The Next Generation while doing that.
Cool.
So my an old friend of mine, his uncle was actually on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was he actually had a named character, Ensign. I forget his last name now. He was the guy who, when Data would come into the deck where everybody's, and the guy would be sitting at his station, and then he would come in and tap him on the shoulder, and then he would get up and fuck off. He was that guy. He was every single time like somebody showed up to the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, so are they going to go to the brig? Or are they going to go to their room? He was the guy who would take them there, right?
Oh, okay.
He was just, he was just a working actor in LA back when they were filming that, and he just got a regular gig. And I had never really seen Star Trek: The Next Generation. And so I thought it'd be fun to just like toss this on and play a game of like Spot Tim. And, I mean, because this is a dude I know. This is a guy I'd with, I'd smoked with, I'd hung out with, but it was on when I was a kid. I never really saw it all that much. So
right.
So yeah, I went through the entire series while carving that cardinal, playing the game.
That's awesome. I did have like one summer where I was I don't know what book I was drawing, but I ended up on Netflix streaming all the seasons of all Star Trek series.
Oh wow!
And that was pretty fantastic. I appreciated all of them, even Enterprise, for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, it's like, oh my God, they needed to have a Star Trek series that's mostly swanky and comedy, and they needed John Waters as this always slightly inebriated captain. Every problem gets resolved with a sexy party or an orgy or something interspecial.
To be fair, put John Waters in anything and I'll watch it.
Right.
It's an easy sell.
Yeah, me too. I find him absolutely enchanting and endearing.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh my God, I did get a chance to meet him a couple of years ago. He did a speaking engagement at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design up here in Denver, which I'm an alumni of, and he did his one man spoken word show and stuff, and then a little meet and greet afterwards, and I think, what did I tell him? Oh, I told him that Pink Flamingos got me through some really depressive time, and he just gave me the dirtiest look, like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
And he's like,
Yeah. Oh, little dirty bird.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, go away. You. I was like, okay. Oh man. So what do we have to look forward to from 215?
So we are going to be running the Kickstarter for the next volume of Kadoja, which is our kaiju book.
Ooh. Oh, I love kaiju books.
Yeah, that's put out by Keith Foster, and actually my brother is illustrating the last couple of issues of this.
That looks gorgeous.
The original illustrator actually went on to illustrate for Disney.
Oh,
so we need to replace him.
Yeah.
Like I said, I picked good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. That's cool.
We got the graphic novel of Freaks and Gods coming out. We have a book from Steve Orlando called The Kitchen Witch coming out very soon.
I love Steve. I met him a few years ago. He's so cool.
Yeah, he's 215 alumni as well.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So doing some stuff on that. We've got a Tom Waits collection coming out.
What?
Called This Stuff Will Probably Kill You. It's an entire book that is short comic pieces, all inspired by individual songs.
Oh my God.
Waits. Not using lyrics or anything, just inspired by.
My heart is melting. I love Tom Waits.
Well, it'll be available soon.
Oh my God. That is tremendous. Holy shit.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't wait for people to take a look at that. And I actually partnered with Rolf from Blue Moth, another old 2 and 5 book, to do a story based on the world died screaming, or the Earth died screaming. Yeah, about a astronaut who gets stuck up on the space station as the world blows up beneath them.
Man, that's wow. That, yeah, I don't want to think about that. with the pandemic and stuff, it's like that sounds like an amazing story. But
yeah, we had a great cover by actually I forget who did the art.
Well, the title is amazing. You know, God,
yeah,
that is.
We had the actual title design done by Sean Aldridge.
Okay, I know that name. Yeah,
another 2 and 5 Inc. alumni.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, really excited about that one.
Man, you guys have absolutely no shortage of amazing, works coming out.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever feel like, as a publisher, this is your gallery and you're curating?
100%.
Yeah.
I love being able to look at the shelf of books that I've helped bring into the world.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not more important than the creator. I can't say that enough. They are the ones who are important here. But the fact that, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I draw immense amount of pride knowing that I helped.
Nice. John, I think, just creamed himself too. Tom Waits, nice.
I'll take it.
Oh man, yeah. I'm excited to see the new, the new works. Hopefully, after the pandemic, you'll be able to get back out there and, on the the con floors or do signings at the bookstores too.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Because I think, we're all missing that human interaction, that intimacy.
Yeah, we sure are.
But man, I tell you what, when we're able to, 215 and Michael Perkins will have just an amazing array of new fantastic works.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, especially stuff that's being created now during the pandemic.
Yeah, well, gotta do something, right?
Right. I think creatives are we're some of the few people that are pretty well adapted to doing this stuff.
To realizing that when everybody else lifts their foot, you're the one who should be stomping on the gas.
Right. Yes, most definitely. Michael, thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing, all the cool things that you do and making the world a much brighter place.
I appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Yeah, it's so cool. And, go ahead, stick around for a few minutes. I know you've got an appointment here in a little bit, but I just want to say to my sponsors, Mutiny Information Cafe, thanks so much for, supporting this little show and putting up with the fact that I can't talk. And to everybody out there that tuned in and to John, thanks for commenting and participating. Keep up the good work, John. Keep submitting.
Yeah, please do.
And everybody, take care of each other. Be good. Help each other out. We love you. Have a good one. Take care.
Nothing you can do about it.